So the picture is not very good, but on the other hand, you have a lot of, let's say, you are betting a lot on the ability of the peoples to reject and to make more pressure in order to change.
Exactly.
So, this is you are very credible because you know very well the movements everywhere as a leader of an organization worldwide, working worldwide, and with more than 80 coalitions here and there. So you have a sense of the social movement.
Yes, but I am just a reader of what the groups and the citizens in those countries express themselves.
Let's say a good reader. Can you a little bit tell me now about your future plans as a global network and part of many other coalitions?
Well, basically, as you were saying, SocialWatch was created around two main issues in '95, poverty and gender equality. Those were those were part of the Social Summit of '95 and of the Beijing Conference on Women. So around those two issues, we created a movement to monitor and to advocate, to report, and so on. Now the methodology is probably the same in the sense of, hey, you promised this, you have to deliver. It is very empowering because this can be understood by people all around the world.
And if nobody is asking, nobody will deliver, but you have to ask.
Yeah, but you have to ask on what government said they would do. It's not about our own demand, which may be crazy or exaggerated. The government said they will do it. So it legitimizes people saying, hey, you're going to deliver. But they promised that on a wide variety of issues, which is the two of poverty and gender equality, but now includes environmental concern, it now includes governance concerns. They also promised justice, actual delivery of justice, of better governance, and so on. So the package has been expanded, and we are now talking and discussing with other networks that have expertise and knowledge and so on all these issues to come together, which is first coming together is this spotlight report. We are going to assess, we are going to say, okay, was it good, was it bad, how was the experience, shall we do it again, shall we do it regularly, or...
So widening the agenda means widening the coalition.
Widening the coalition,
and bringing
yes.
more actors from civil society.
Bringing in more actors together, of course, and I think that will also help, and we will continue doing that, taking the space that we were offered and invited to participate at the level of the United Nations, of the different regional commissions of the United Nations and so on, and say, here we are, not just for that deliberation, but also now for the monitoring, for the follow-up, for the revision, and so on, and we want to continue being engaged and use those spaces for the dialogue with our governments, and also to support our governments when they need to come together and, for example, as was discussed in these days, have a treaty on transnational corporations and their obligations.
Okay, this was very comprehensive. Being here in Lebanon, what is your last message you can, last in this interview?
In this interview, well, I think that we have seen many changes in the Arab world in the last years, and some have been promising in terms of the expansion of democracy. At the same time, some have been very tragic in terms of the losses in lives, in destruction, the human drama that is associated with that, which shows, those issues. I think the world should look around and look better into this region, which is taking, I would say, Lebanon a disproportionate amount of responsibility in the problem. Lebanon did not create the problem. It's taking the responsibility of helping solve that humanitarian crisis much more than any other countries. and not getting the recognition or the support that it should deserve for that, well, that shows that the world has come to terms, because it was unbelievable that that would happen a few years ago. It could happen also in other parts of the world, and we need to learn the lesson that this agenda has to be made real, or the consequences could be really very bad, and we hope they won't.
Okay. By the way, there is the goal number 16, which is talking about the peaceful societies and governance issues, which is included in the agenda. Which is a very strong message to make the link between democracy, governance, peaceful societies, etc., and development goals. So you cannot make separation between building peace and stability and goals for development.
Exactly, and that is why this agenda has to be taken to the highest level.
Because it is comprehensive.
Because it is comprehensive. Because everything is involved and interrelated. A health minister will tell you, oh no, I deliver hospitals, health and so on, this is somebody else's responsibility. Then you go to another ministry and to another ministry, and always will be another ministry or another international organization.
Exactly, the international organizations, I mean, there's sector.
So at the end of the day, it has to be the whole of the United Nations, and it has to be at the highest level so that it can be made comprehensive, and then a mandate given to the different ministers, you work according to this guideline.
And we are here to monitor everybody, international organizations, national governments, in the south, in the north.
Not me, I am just here to stimulate people to do that monitoring for themselves.
Okay, but it should be done by someone.
But it should be done,
okay.
Definitely.
Okay, Roberto Bissio, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ziad, and thanks for bringing me here.